So this is going to be a viewer. This video is a viewer requested video. It's also going to be a video reference to myself in the future. In case I ever forget how to do stairs, I'll have this video as a reference. So I had a viewer watch one of my other videos about stairs. I've been doing a lot of stairs here recently. So the particular video, I was explaining how to lay out your lines on your stair stringers. So this particular viewer says he has experience installing stairs but not fabricating, and he wants to get better at fabricating the stairs. I guess to go along with installing the stairs. I don't know if he's working for somebody else and wants to go out on his own or what, but so we're gonna get into how to build some stairs. The first thing you're gonna want to do is get a piece of paper and a calculator and things to measure with. If you have all that stuff, you're probably good to go. You don't need a fancy laser thing right off the start, or if you're doing things in an ideal situation. If you have plans already made up by somebody else and all you're doing is making stuff to the plans, it's even better. But you don't need all that. So when I make these stairs, pretty much what I'm doing is well, at the one place we're just cutting the old ones off and putting new ones on in the exact same place. I mean, there's like a brick wall and a concrete landing on the first floors. The second floors have some, I think it's like 10 or 12 inch channel iron. Then there's like a concrete deck on it, and then there's like a little metal ledger thing, a little piece of 4-inch angle or something. On most of these, where I'm mating the stringers to the decks or the landings or whatever. At this other place I'm going to show you on video, what we're doing is, well, what I'm trying to do is replace the entire freaking things. But it's a metal deck. It's a second story entranceway. So it's the only way in and out that these people have for their apartments. They go up and down these stairs every day. But anyway, what we're trying to do is make it a grate top, and then there's channel iron that makes a frame. And what I'm trying to do is some of these ones that I have to replace the decks on, yeah, we're taking the decks off and I'm making the deck as close to or exactly the same as the old decks as far as size goes and where it's located. So pretty much what I'm doing is just remaking what's already made, if that makes sense. So I have measurements to go off of. Yeah, so like I have things I can measure to make what I have to make. If you're trying to make like a brand new building, like out in this field over here, and you're trying to make the stairs before anything gets going, you're probably going to want to get skilled at AutoCAD, CAD, whatever they call it, the little computer drawing stuff. You're probably going to want to get skilled at that, or get somebody who's like an engineer and is already skilled at that, to figure out how long your stuff has to be and where it's going to be. That stuff is stuff I don't really get into. If you have a building already there and I know where everything is going to sit, how it's going to sit, I can tell you how to make your stairs. But if we're just out in this field and there's like, if somebody's like, oh, we're going to put a building here, and I have to make some stairs for it, I'm going to tell them, make your building, and then I'll make your stairs. I don't know how to make my stairs until you make a building, unless you get some engineer to give me plans. So, yeah. So, we're going to get on site here and try to explain this the best I can. Keep in mind, there's a lot of things that are not ideal at the location that we're working at. If you're at a place where things are more ideal, you know, good for you. You don't have to do things the way I'm doing them. The reason why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them is nothing at this place is easy. So, yeah. Keep that in mind while you're watching this, and I'll try to explain it the best I can. Alright? Peace. Alright, man. So this is what we're gonna be fixing here. Sorry, this is my truck. Trying to get a steadier angle here. Anyway, so I gotta figure out the length of these stringers here. Well, if you notice, I'll bring in closer here in a second, they're not really cut right. That's why I say it doesn't really matter what these stringers are cut at. You have to figure this out on your own. So, figure out where you want your stairs to land as far as front and back goes out here. You then got to figure out where your deck is going to be and figure out the height of it. Not only the height, but also, you know, how close, like if that's going to be right where it's at, or if we have to move it. So you need to figure out the trigonomic values between your point over here and your point up here. Why do I say trigonomic values? Because look how lumpy that ground is. I don't care what the distance is between here and here, because if I try to get a triangle going between here, here, and here, I need this to be 90 degrees. Well, that point here on a triangle might be below my cement. I'm not going to rip up the cement to get to my triangulated point. You know, if everything is not lumpy like this, you know, you were doing this on flat ground, it would be a lot easier. You could just throw a tape measure between this point and this point. So, there's multiple ways to get the trigonomic value of this triangle here. One way to do it is to throw a plumb bob, tie a string up here and throw a plumb bob down, and then measure from where the stairs are going to go to your plumb bob, making sure your tape measure is pretty level. And that would get you this distance. But how you get this distance, if you were doing this the old school way, trying to measure everything, you would need to measure from the ground here up to here somewhere. But you would have to throw something across here to measure to that would be level. I mean, here that would be a pain in the dick. So another way to do it is to figure out the distance from here to here, or wherever you're going to go in here, and then figure out the angle that these stairs are going to run. These are, I cut them at 40. These are like 42, some are 37, but I cut them all at 40. So if I know my stairs are sitting at a 40, I don't know if that would be at this angle or this angle. Without getting a protractor out. So if you're drawing a triangle on a piece of paper, what's that going to look like is this is a 90. You know the distance from here to here. I believe on this one it's 10'1". So 10'1", 90, and then whichever angle that you know, I mean, once you know one of them, you know the other one, if this one's going to be a 90. Plug that into a piece of paper, and then if you know trigonometry, great. If not, you're gonna have to look that up on your own. Go on Google, that's how I find it, or go to college. I didn't go to college, so I have to look it up on Google every time I try to do these using trigonometry. Yeah, I can't even say it right, man. Trigonometry. I have to look it up every time I do it. I cannot remember. All I know is cosine and sine. I don't know what they mean. All I know is the words. So, an easier way to do it, is to use one of these. I tried using this little tripod thing here, but it didn't really work out. So what I do is I turn this on. This one's a really fancy one. I just got it today. Normally I do all this plumb bob bullshit. So you turn it on. That's the real time. Hit the little center button, and then go over to this little triangle looking thing. So we're gonna go with indirect height. Actually, no, we'll go with indirect length. So I need to find out where my stairs are gonna go. I don't want to go from back here unless these are cut right. So I want to go from here. I already figured it out. It's somewhere close to, like, right behind this. I have this set so it's the little back of the laser needs to go there. Pay attention, because if you have that to the front of the laser, you need to be like here and down. But anyway, so I'm gonna put the little back of the laser about like right here. This was working with the bipod, doing the length, but not the height. So I'm gonna hit this little center button. Now I gotta find the laser, which you won't see it on the camera. I can barely see it in person. All right, there we go. I hit the little center button. And we got close to 9'11". I'm gonna move this back a little bit. Yeah, I had it like right here. So we're close to like 10 foot there. I didn't have this exactly where I had it before, but you can see the actual distance from this point up is 13 foot 11 inches. At a 43-degree angle, you got a 10 foot 5 16ths from where I had the back of this thing just now. So we're gonna go over here to our calculator and stuff, and this is what I have written down so far. So that's my triangle. Now from here I need to figure out C. So this is A, B, C. So I need to figure out what C is now. So I'm going to do the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So I'm going to convert these all into inches to make it easier. And I'm not really good at math, so I'm just going to skip to the end. Yeah, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And then, yeah, we'll get back to you here. Alright, so another thing I wanted to point out on this one, before I leave here, is how you cut your tops and the bottoms. So, never mind all this junk in here. I didn't do this. It's kind of why I'm here, to rebuild this and this. If this is all good, I wouldn't be here. So this is kind of cut out right. I do mine a bit different. So when you build your stringers, if these are set in level, you want your top cut out. Like when your stringer is in place, you want this cut to be level as well, or at least as level as you can get it. What I do is I mount mine flush with the top of this. You know, depending on your surface, you know, sometimes you want it flush with the top of the grate, or whatever walk-in surface you have. Sometimes you want it flush with the channel, or whatever you're attaching it to. And this one, I'm probably going to attach it flush to the channel, since I'm going to have a cutout here for this handrail. Something this guy didn't do. And you can see how well that worked out. But anyway, I mean, they kind of had the right idea here, you know, cut this with that. Yeah, anyway, I make my cuts 1.5 inches long on this cut. Whatever this is just the remainder. This is the one I measure. This cut here is 90 degrees from this cut. So boom, 90 down to here. If this one's at 40, this one's at 50. If this one's at 50, this one's at 40. Or vice versa, you know. It all makes a 90 here, and then it's like a triangle. If that helps. Yeah. So, yeah, I got my work cut out for me on this one, man. But we're gonna go down to the bottom here and show you what not to do. So, the bottom, I mean, I don't know what he's got going on, man. It looks like this was a complete beam and he just sort of cut it wherever he could. to get it flat with this. See, this is what I don't do. What I do is I'll make this cut flush with the ground, and then somewhere about where this post is, or yeah, somewhere where this hole is for the post, I will cut a straight down. So it makes a 90, where does it make a 90 at? Yeah, makes a 90 here. This, again, one of these is a 40 and one of these is a 50. Makes a 90 here. And then when you measure these, when I said you get your C-squared, that would be from this point here, wherever it would land, up to the very tip up here. And that's how you cut them. Yeah, good support, right? Yeah, so now I'll take you in the shop to actually do this. All right, man, so we're in the shop now. It ain't that big, man. It's a bit crowded in here right now. I gotta get some stuff out of here. But anyway, that's what we're doing today, is trying to get some of this stuff out of here. So these are actually stringers that I already cut for another, it's the same owner, but a different set of stairs. So I'll show you the math here. These are the measurements I had. It's for a second floor. So this is the top of like where the second floor is, and then this is the landing for the first floor, like in between the second and first floor. So I have to go put the stairs from this point to this point. Well, I can't really measure just from here down because I can't really do that. So what I did is I measured from the second floor all the way down to the ground level, which gave me 111 inches. The floor is pretty straight on where this one is, so I measured whatchamacallit here, yeah, 57.5 inches from the ground up to this first floor. Then you subtract the two, and that is how high you need to rise from the ground level or the landing level up to the top. What that correlates to is this tip here is going to be 111 inches above the ground. This tip here is going to be, what did I say, 57.5 inches above the ground. So I think it's like 53.5 inches total rise from this landing to this landing. At this place, I was able to measure 64 inches from here to here, just using the old stairs and a level and a measuring tape. Like I said, if you don't have that, you're gonna have to use one of them laser things or another method. Anyway, those are the measurements. I'm gonna show you the math here to figure out how long you need to cut these based on those measurements. So we got the 64 inches here. That is our length And then we got our 53.5, that's our rise. So 64 squared equals 4,096. Yeah, it looks like 40%, but it's the 4,096. The 53.5 squared equals 2,862.25. Add them together gives us 6,958.25. The square root of that is 83.41, which is pretty close to 83 and 7/16. So 83 and 7/16 is our the length that we need to cut these beams. So like I said, one of these is at 40, one of these is at 50. Looking at this, I would probably say this one's a 50-degree corner. I don't want to, like if you measured from here to here, it looks like it would be 50. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I did cut one of these the wrong way, and I had to remake it. But yeah, so don't take my word. Use a protractor or something. One of these is at 40, one of these is at 50. I know when you're like this, and like if this is your wall right here, this is upright. If you stick an angle meter on here, it's gonna say 40. So yeah, I'd have to get my protractor out to figure that out. But anyway, we're gonna measure this. So I said I was looking for 83 and 7/16, I believe. We're at 83 and a half, which is really close. As long as it's within a ballpark, this is a, it doesn't have to be an exact science. 83 and a half, slightly over it there. Yeah, like I said, this isn't really an exact science. As long as you're close. At the place I'm at, you know, nobody's ever gonna know that, you know, because like I said, I didn't take a level and measure the floor and all that. So as long as you're close, should be good. So what I was saying about the top here, notice how that's like pretty close to 1.5 inches long. This is the remainder, which is close to 11.5 inches. It's the same on that one. This is the top cut. Come here to the bottom. And it should be, yeah, 6 1/4 on this one. And then the remainder on this one should be close to 7.5. It's actually like 7 3/4 on this one. Yeah, it's close enough for the place I'm working at. I hope that helps. Answer your question. It will matter what types of steps you use and what type of stringers you got. These ones here are a 10-inch channel iron. I think it's like an 8.4 or something. However whatever figures they use for that, like 8.4 pounds a foot or something. I don't know. I think it's 8.4. You can see here, this used to be a 25-foot beam. Yeah, that's how I lay out the first and the end cuts. This first one here, actually I'll get the square out here. All right, so we got the square out. You can see this line, yeah, it's parallel with, well, close to parallel with my the framing square. So if you don't have one of them the first time, you know, this one here shows it's 50 degrees, or the back azimuth is like 120 something, I believe. Could be wrong. 130. Yeah, like 130 degrees would be this cut. Or if you're measuring it, you know, this way, from here to here, yeah, it's 50 degrees or 130, I believe. From this point to this point is 130 degrees, I believe, if I'm doing my math right. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then this point to this point is the 40-degree cut, which would be, we're gonna set this down here and figure this out here. Oh, got it on hold. Got to re-zero this thing. All right. So yeah, that's our 104. It's 140 degrees from this point to this point, or 40-degree back azimuth. So what we figured out is, if this is your top of your stringer, when you have the angle finder sitting on your stairs that are already made, or you know the angle of attack of your stairs, this top cut is the one that corresponds to that number. This bottom cut is just the 40 plus 90, and this is the remainder to get you to 180. If that's making sense. That's the same thing down here, but it would be the opposite. This is the very bottom of our, this is where the concrete is going to sit. This end is going to have a cap on it. So this end here, this angle corresponds to what your angle finder is sitting at for the attack of your stair. This one is just the remainder of your 40 plus 90 remainder to get you 180. If that's making sense. So like I said in my previous video, when you draw your first cut, you know, this beam, it's not going to have this cut on it, obviously. It's going to be straight across like this. So we're going to imagine that is our end here. You take your framing square, like so. To get this set up the first time, get yourself one of these or the speed square. Stick this on here at 50 degrees. Oops. Yeah, stick this on here, you know, draw a line on your stringer that corresponds to your angle of attack. And then you're gonna set this up any which way you want it, but I keep it so that this tip is on the end here. Up here where all the holes are is always gonna be facing the top of my stringer. And this wide part down here is always gonna be where the treads are gonna go. So on this one, this is the top. This is facing the top. On this other one, that's the top. So that's the top. That's making sense. So anyway, we're gonna imagine this is the end of our beam here. You know, you're not gonna be able to stick this little brass piece past there. So you wanna stick it right on the very end of your channel so you can get the most out of this beam that you can. You're gonna draw a line all the way up. And then on this one, this square is 1.5 inches wide, which just so happens is what I want this top piece to be cut at, which is why I use this for the top. So right where your square hits the end of this, which is at like 9 3/4, which is into this square, you know, you want to make a little dot. Or if you don't have these holes here, you know, come to the end here, make a dot or a line. Then take your square like so and finish the line, and then that will give you this. You go and cut that out however which way you want it, you know, with your bandsaw, with your chop saw, with your grinder, with your plasma cutter, with your torch, you know, with your hacksaw. I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, whatever. You get your cuts. And then I always cut this top part out before I draw the lines on the back part. It's like I said, nothing here is an exact science, you know. As long as I'm close when I'm cutting, I don't care. So to make this back cut more accurate, I always measure from this tip once it's already cut out. You know, you're gonna come back here. Let's say I wanted to go somewhere in here. You know, I'm gonna throw my square down, draw the line straight across this like I explained in the last video. Flip this the way I want it. So this is on the top. And I'm gonna measure from that line I drew to 6 1/4, which would be here. So this line is gonna fall through the 6 1/4. If you want your bottom to be a different spacing than mine, you know, you gotta plan that out and have the line go through whatever number you want. So that'll make it so that from this tip here to your line is 6 1/4 inches, which corresponds to how I got this. Then for the rest, or for the other part, you slide that down and fill in the remainder. You get your 90 here. That's the remainder. Now I hope that helps you. I mean, combine this video with my last video and you'll probably understand it a lot better. Yeah, that's how I cut these out to length. I wish I could explain it better, but that's probably the most visual way I can explain all this. And again, nothing is ever really as simple as it seems on paper when you go to do this in real life. So keep that in mind, and yeah, you'll pick it up as you go. Just, you know, try some, man. Make a table like this, what I got here. Yeah, if you want to try it out, you know, make a table like I got here. And you know, if you're just trying to practice, just build you a set of stairs that'll go up to this, you know, and, you know, see how it turns out. If that works, doing that, then you can start going around and trying to charge people for your work. That's what I would do. So, hope that helps. There's a finished one, by the way. They're same as these. So, yeah, man. If that answers your question, you know, like and subscribe to this channel. If it doesn't, maybe pose another question and I'll try to answer it better. Because I'm kind of busy today. I got like 5 of these to make. I got some decks to make. I got to finish a table I'm building. So, yeah, I'm trying to get all this stuff done. Got to make some handrails too. So, yeah. See ya. All right, so one more thing I wanted to mention before I end the video here. These are all the brackets that are on it. They're just tacked on there, right? Or they're not even tacked on there right now. They're literally just sitting on it. I apologize for the generator. But anyway, so this is up here at the top. One thing you want to keep in mind is before you make your decision on where or how to make the ends here, just get a piece of channel and then get the bracket you're trying to stick on there, which these happen to be a piece of angle iron, 3" by 3" by 3/16. Just stick it on here in the orientation that it's gonna sit, and then try to plan out how you're gonna do this. So you know, like I have on my treads, this line is a 1" offset. Ideally, these brackets all fit on here. Some of them, like this first one, stick off just a tad because of the way they were fitting in my chop saw station here. They got cut like maybe 1/8 of an inch too long. But yeah, for the most part, like that one, they're all barely hanging off, if any. Some of them are a little bit recessed. So you want to find brackets that are going to work for your stairs, and then you also want to find a channel to work for your brackets, if that makes any sense. When you do this top cut here, you can cut it pretty much any which way you need to. You don't have to do what I did, but what I did kind of looks decent and it works. Like, you don't want to have this cut I guess like way down here to be like a straight 45, or like you don't want this line here to be a cut and your next bracket sit here, because then you barely have anything to mount to. It's hard to explain, but you pretty much just gotta like mess around with stuff. It took me I've done probably like, I don't know, maybe 35, 40 of these. I don't know, somewhere close to that. I lost count. Either repairing No, I think it's somewhere closer to 50. Repairing and fabricating these stringers. The first two that I did were kind of messed up, but I learned from it, and this is what I started doing, and it worked. And I just took what worked and rolled with it. So, yeah. That's why I said, just set up some, I mean, this channel is like $9 a foot. If you set up, I'd get like 3 of them. Like find a table about like 3 or 4 foot high and just try to build some stairs up to it. That way, if you mess it up, you know, it's no big deal, you know. It would really only cost you like, I don't know, maybe $27 to $30, somewhere in there, to run. Maybe a bit more, like maybe $40 to build a set of stringers to run up to your table here. I mean, play around with it, find what works, then you can charge people, make thousands off, you know, what you learn. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not the best teacher in the world. I tried to explain it the best I can. I hope this helps you. Hope it answers your questions. So, yeah, I gotta get building here. See ya.